you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test. A lot of us watched the Oscars this past Sunday, so we're shooting this on Wednesday.
Didn't think so.
I watched the whole thing, start to finish.
We missed the first hour because I didn't realize it didn't start at goddamn 8 o'clock. So
Yeah, and I was happy about that. I like that time.
yeah, it started at 7 or some
7
shit?
o'clock.
Yeah.
I consumed it as all millennials do. I
Right.
saw clips on Instagram and TikTok, and that's
fine.
basically how I watched it.
That's
I
fine.
got the footnotes. I know what happened.
Well, why don't we just start with just the broadcast in general? So, how did Jimmy Kimmel do, and who watched it as his host? So, how do you think Kimmel did?
He was good, but you need a little bit more spice. You know, I mean, some
He
of
definitely
them
plays
really
it relatively
fired
safe.
some of those other stars out there in the audience. He didn't do that.
Well, I didn't want to get hit.
Yeah.
Right, you don't get slapped.
No, he doesn't do that really anyway. He definitely knows the
Has he
audience,
done
and
it before?
he's hosted it.
Okay.
Like, I think it's his third time.
You also got to think that
hosting.
he's actual friends with a lot of those people out there.
Right. So he got it. Yeah.
Well, plus
But
he has
he
to talk,
was-
so he wants them to come on as a guest.
Right,
Too.
you
He's
don't
not
wanna
gonna
shit on
He's not
them.
going to insult
Right.
them. You know.
But he did a good job. I
Yeah.
mean, he kept the thing moving. Some of the stars were quite intrigued with him. So hey,
Sure.
Yeah.
I was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's reasonable. I agree.
Yeah.
And some of the bits were okay.
Mm-hmm.
The John Cena bit I thought was funny.
The John Cena bit. Can we talk about that now?
Well, what do you think of Kimmel real quick, and then we'll
Okay.
get to your favorite
All right.
moments.
Kimmel's good. Kimmel, like you said, he was safe. He did Kimmel. Like it was
It's a late night show, almost.
Yeah, he did Kimmel.
Oscars. Yeah.
Right.
It's good. I liked the bit when he read Donald Trump's tweet.
That was funny.
That was fun. Mm-hmm. And you know that fucking redhead monster's just seething and getting so angry. Made me feel good.
Okay. Yeah, and Kimmel's good. Like I say, he's a serviceable host. And like you say, he understands she's got to keep it moving.
Right.
He's also cognizant of the time, and let's speed it up and that type of thing to get out of there at a reasonable hour. So,
Right.
yeah, that's
Right.
what you need too. So, okay, so favorite moments. Obviously, the Donald Trump tweet.
Ooh,
Go ahead, please.
Arnold and Danny DeVito.
That was
The
great.
Batman
Yeah,
bit
that
with
was
Michael
good.
Keaton.
That was really
and
good.
Michael
Yeah,
Keaton was like, I was like, man.
Like you saw that and you're like, that's the next Batman. You need him as
Although
Batman.
the
Yeah.
flaw in it was that was not. Arnold's
I agree.
Batman.
It wasn't Arnold's Batman.
They just
But it was
glazed
Danny
over that.
DeVito's.
Like
Danny
it was,
DeVito's.
but George Clooney was Arnold's Batman. But
it-
but I mean, it works.
you
for
get- you
obviously
got it,
no
you
one's. I mean,
understood. Right.
the sake of the joke is that Michael Keaton is commonly probably the most recognizable Batman, I would
Right.
say,
Right.
of all of them.
Sure.
I mean, really, when
Yeah.
you think Batman in film, I
Probably
think
the first
Michael
one that pops in
Keaton's
your mind.
The
Sure.
first one.
Yep.
But I thought that was a cool little bit, and I like that they, obviously teased it's like, why they're together, that it's obviously
The
twins,
twins,
but
sequel coming.
the fact
yeah.
that they were both Batman villains, and I thought that was pretty cool. So,
Yep.
yeah, enjoyed that.
Good. Well, we talked about John Cena a little bit already. That was a funny bit.
That was a funny bit. I enjoyed. First of all, as soon as it happened, I went in online and was like, "All right, I got to see." Everybody has to be enthralled as I am in finding it funny. Dude, everybody shit on this bit.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know what's happened to X, but it was just covered with people saying that it's the initiation into the Illuminati, that it's a ritual to humiliate him so that people so he'll be part of the
It was like the
baby
anniversary of
eating
this.
club.
There was a streaker that.
No, again, I understood the bit. I got the joke. It was hilarious, but apparently a lot of
Was it 50
right-wing
years?
nuts.
It was some anniversary. There was an actual streaker.
Right.
that went across the stage that surprised everybody. So it was to celebrate
Did you see it?
that
I saw. Yeah,
anniversary.
it had something to do with wardrobe or whatever. They were making a joke about something else, weren't they? Like,
Well, it ended up wardrobe.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel came on and said, 50 years ago or whatever it was, there was a streaker.
Yeah.
Luckily, he goes, could you imagine a streaker coming across the stage today? I said, could you imagine a streaker coming across today? And looks back, and John Cena pokes his head out and goes, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then he walks over there he's like, I changed my mind and stuff. And then he comes out with the big card.
right over him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they did after they announced the wardrobe, because John Cena's funniest line was as soon as he, got there with the card and just him, and he goes, wardrobe might be the most important thing, because he's naked.
Yeah.
And then they come back from after announcing the nominees, and he was in a giant dress.
Like a curtain or something.
Yeah,
they wrapped
something
him
like
in it. Yeah, that was funny.
No, it was very funny.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite bit.
Yep.
What about you?
You?
Dad?
Any favorite moment of the Oscars or moments?
I kind of try to pay attention to all of them that win.
Yeah.
I mean, not so much the drum thing with the Indians.
Oh yeah, right.
That was cool. That was very
They
cool.
had all those drummers around that one.
Yeah.
And they did their language.
Yeah.
Navajo, maybe?
I don't know. Utes? I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, that was entertaining
Yeah, that was cool.
because they did it in their native language, and
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Nice.
The Ryan Gosling, I'm Just Ken bit I think that was one of the best music acts that I can recall watching. It was fun.
Right.
They were good.
Yeah.
And I thought it was thoroughly entertaining.
Brian
That whole
Gosling is
bit.
a treat for men and women alike.
They even had the actors that played the other Kens that were there.
Yeah,
came
I
up
saw
on
that.
the stage and participated and stuff like that. So they got the whole crowd up and just energized. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was a good bit.
Yeah. Okay. As far as winners, Oppenheimer was the huge winner of the evening. I think it won 7 Oscars, something like that. Best Picture,
As it
Best
should.
Director, Best Supporting Actor with Robert Downey Jr.
So I saw bits and pieces of that
I
was it
haven't
last
seen
night.
Of
Best
the
actor?
Oscars or Oppenheimer?
No, of Oppenheimer. And
You're going to watch bits and pieces.
well, Robin was watching it, and I'd look up every now and again. But like, it was shot in different. Like, it's different. Like,
It was like black and
there's
white.
some black and white scenes.
yes.
There's some like it was every time I looked up at the screen, it was like a different. Like you're watching a different movie or a different like.
Did
so
you
it's
think
kinda
about
somewhat
putting down
interesting.
your Pokemon cards and actually watching the
That's a
film?
movie you have to sit down and watch. Yeah, you have to watch that.
Well, first of all, it was already 20. Like she'd already started watching it like 20 minutes ago, and also I don't like I said I just don't have any desire to see. Like I don't care at all.
Good movies.
But
yeah.
I
it was
don't
long.
care.
I think it was well acted.
It looked very good.
It's very good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You saw it?
yeah.
It's
From
very
what
good.
I've seen of it, okay, I haven't
He
seen all
also
the way
watched
through.
bits and pieces.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm not saying it should have been the only one to win, but
Yeah.
it definitely was up there in the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was definitely, as I'm watching it, I'm sort of like, I think this is a good movie. It's pretty good. But then as it was over, I'm like, was that one of the best movies I ever, I know. But as I reflected on it afterwards, it's like, man, it really was a powerful message. And
Right.
yeah, it's a very big subject to tackle.
It is.
And I thought they
You
overall
gotta
did a
think
good job of that.
visually, cinematically,
Yeah, it was really, well, I think it won Best Cinematography,
Yep,
I believe, as
the-
well. Yeah.
the acting, like everything about it, drew you in. It was what kind of movies needed, right? It was a film, you know what I mean? Comparative to a lot of the things from the Oscars from the past were these indie films almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this was something everybody saw. Everybody, other than Barbie, everybody got together and said, yes, this was fantastic. we loved going to see this. So I think that in that sense, it deserved everything it was. Now, if you'd have told me Paul Giamatti would have won for Holdovers, I wouldn't have argued that.
No.
But Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy won, and you can't argue that. He was fantastic.
It wasn't a situation where the awards they won, you're like, no, there's no way.
Right.
Like you said, I could see.
Hold on. I got to bring out one.
Go ahead.
For the first time in over 80 years, it has been on the screen. Godzilla won its first fucking Oscar.
Right.
Yeah, visual effects.
I did not like, though, that the poor man is up there.
They cut him off.
All excited.
Well, he was kind of ruining the show.
Well, no. Come on, man. What? It's a guy, he's super stoked and excited to win the award.
I get that.
English is not his primary language.
I get that.
He's nervous. He pulls out and he's trying to read his fucking
He was part
speech.
of a Godzilla movie. He had no idea he'd be on the fucking stage.
They couldn't have dubbed somebody over his speech.
That would have been great.
Oh, man.
But then they
Thank you so much for this speech.
They play the fucking guy off of there. It's
I would like to thank
come
my parents.
on, man.
I did. It was cringe. It was very cringe.
You know what? And that got me thinking, too, because the guy won the documentary about Ukraine.
Yes.
And he's going on for a minute. I'm like, if they
weren't playing
that
him
director
off.
was probably like, you better not fucking touch that goddamn
that
button.
motherfucker's sweating, going, I don't know what to do.
And that was a good moment.
Yes,
it was a sad moment, but a good moment. The guy was like they made a documentary of the horrors in Ukraine, and he basically said, I would, in so many words, I would trade. I wish I didn't make this movie.
Right.
I would trade not making this movie and not have all the atrocities
if he
over
was
here,
slightly
basically.
better at English, that sentence should have been, I wish I wouldn't have had to make this movie. Because when he first said it, you're like,
you know what he meant.
You did, but it's still.
So that was
fucking English.
That was powerful. But yeah, I mean, it was sort of like I said earlier, it was sort of an upset by some for Emma Stone to win Best Actress over. I have her right here. The lady Lily Gladstone from Killers of the Flower Moon. Some people were thinking now. Yeah, and actually, you know what? I'm glad that she didn't win, but I'm glad that they. Jesus. No. No. But it seemed to be the Academy said, "Listen, we're going to pick who we think had the best performance. Period. We're not getting influenced by the first
star power
Native American to win the award." I haven't seen the movie. I'm sure she's great in it.
It was great.
I did see Emma Stone, and she was great. So. They did not seem to, I guess you can look at it that way. They didn't succumb to any pressure.
So you're
to give it
glad
to
the
somebody.
Native American didn't win?
No. I'm glad that they
first
felt.
You stole their land, and now you're going to steal their award.
Let's
I'm
glad
that they felt I'm glad they felt they can just. This is who we thought had the best performance. This is who's winning, and that's it. That's what they should do.
It was weird that they really closed in when she lost at a single tear.
Oh my god! like a litter commercial. God. No, but actually, you know what? That moment was nice on camera too, because everybody was very gracious and everything. So it was good.
It was a good award show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it didn't seem like 3 hours. 3 hours did go by.
It did go quick.
Pretty quickly.
Well, I missed the first hour, so I guess 2 hours went quick.
Yeah.
It felt more like 2 hours because that's all I watched.
How'd your 30 seconds go?
It was great.
All right. Well, our discussion topic. So we get to an Ask an Idiot question here. So
30 seconds of that and 20 minutes and I'm Oppenheimer. It was great. Knocked them both out. I don't see what the fuss is about either one.
Brevity.
So Robert Downey Jr. he had a good speech. It was his first Oscar. I was happy to see him win.
Really?
Yes. I think he's been nominated before, but this is his first win for Best Supporting Actor
It's
for
weird that he didn't win
Oppenheimer.
for Chaplin.
I don't know.
No, I know he didn't, but it's still like, I mean, that was a fucking fantastic movie.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. That's fine. I'm sure it's a good movie.
No, he's annoyed because like he remembers watching the original Charlie Chaplin. So like when that movie came
Rendition,
out,
not so
come
good.
on, no, I remember what that guy was.
Yeah, what happened to your dad and I an awful lot. We'd be like a storm. Yeah, we'd be walking down the street and the fucking front of the house would fall down and we'd be trapped inside the window.
Right.
We just had all those narrow escapes, you know what I mean?
It happened a lot.
Yeah, if we just weren't standing at that exact spot.
I had no luck.
Happened a lot in the dust storm.
Yeah, it would have been a catastrophe. No, but one thing that Robert Downey Jr. said is something along the lines of, what we do is important, making movies is important. And I'm not talking about documentaries. I mean, certainly documentaries, you could argue, that's a different level where you're telling a real story about real people. So you could definitely have an impact when making a documentary. So we're not talking about those, but just motion pictures in general, movies in general, non-documentary. So do you buy into what he's saying? So are movies that important in the sense of they can make an impact beyond just entertaining people? Have you watched movies that make you think and maybe you reflect on things differently, or are you more along the lines of just get off your high horse, man? It's just you guys. I mean, we appreciate what you guys do. You're entertainers. You definitely allow us time to focus on something besides our normal troubles in life for a while, which is important in itself, right? But is it really that big a deal to make movies beyond entertainment? So that's sort of our question. Go ahead, Dean.
If it wasn't for films and cinema, Nick would not have a sex life. I just want to put that out there. It would be zero.
Why do you say
I
that?
masturbate a lot.
Oh, there you go.
What are you saying?
Okay.
Is there a film made about my virginity?
No, but your hand. I watch that every day. No, I kind of lean on both camps because when he was saying that, I kind of cringed a little bit. And I'm like, that it's very conceited.
That's what I'm saying. It kind of felt like, hey, we're
you're like,
important
all right,
here.
relax.
Yeah.
There's fucking people trying to cure cancer, and you're playing pretend.
You got the fucking guy
people to
making the Ukraine documentary over here. That guy's got some. Those are real
Calm
issues.
down, Iron Man.
But but once I did get to think about it, there are a lot of movies. There are a lot of. Let me start with this. There are a lot of movies out there that are heavy. That are.
No question. Yeah.
They do have a big scale in people's lives. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people out there that don't fucking get out. You know what I mean? Like films are their life.
Sure.
So to some people, yeah, films are a huge part of life. And there are certain films that maybe like Oppenheimer that whether you see it or not, they do teach.
Sure.
Even if it's not a documentary, there
I
are
don't think
films
we need
that
to teach
teach
people how to make bombs anymore. I think we're good there.
No, if you'd have watched the goddamn movie, you nuts, you would have learned that it is not showing you how to make fucking bombs. It's showing you the horrors of what happens when you make.
You don't know what
decision.
exploding people's going to do? How horrible that's going to be?
It's the
living with-
I don't think I
living
need to watch a 4.5-hour movie to understand
Living with the fact that you created a something that kills a lot of people.
right,
Yeah.
like Nick's jokes.
You wonder.
I do kill.
You wonder how many of those people that made the movie was thinking about what destruction it caused.
You would have to, right?
Right.
It depends your frame of mind, I guess, because if you're just doing a job, you don't
Yeah,
think
just
about
saying words and then moving on.
Right.
But
You can't
if
put the
you're-
genie back in the bottle.
Right.
That's,
But if you're thinking about the destruction it would do, that's another story. So I don't know how the movie, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's going to lay along those lines of what it did
Yeah.
in the end, and the people that made it are going, holy shit, what did I do here?
Because that's the ultimate. At the end, that's, spoiler alert, they dropped the bomb.
Well, now I don't need to watch it.
Right.
So.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But the ultimate,
What?
The fuck?
Where?
Yeah, right.
the ultimate idea of the movie is Oppenheimer trying to come to terms with what he has done to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you get that sense in the movie. So if you have, if you have kids that
He's not.
kids or adults or whatever that like aren't up on history, and movies are the only way that they know history, I think that's a huge part to that, to show them that part of the world, that part of history, not just like the, war movies and bang, bang, bang and cowboys,
Yeah,
right
the human
in it.
element. Yeah.
The human element.
Right.
So in that sense, and again, I'm using Oppenheimer because it is part of this year, but there's been a lot of movies that have done that in the past that really hit home for a lot of people.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
in a sense, I do agree with him. Was it heavy for him to say it in that way? Probably, but he does have a point.
Okay. All right. Nick, what do you think?
I agree with a lot of what you just said.
Let's move on then.
Like you said, it's a little bit, you get like a little bit douchey, like, okay, but at the same time, it's like, he's not wrong. The one that came to mind initially for me immediately when you posed the question was
Mighty
Sean-
Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to judge Megazords, and then no, it was
Judge your Megazord
Sean Penn in Milk. His
Yeah,
portrayal of Harvey
yeah.
Milk.
Good
Important
call.
performance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would I ever have considered myself before that movie like homophobic or anything? Like, no. But growing up at a time where we threw a lot of homophobic language around and saying things like that,
Right.
I was never against anyone from the LGBTQ plus community, but seeing the story played out of a gay man in that time and what they had to go through and things they experienced. At the time, I didn't have any close friends that were gay. I didn't know anybody that was gay. It was just a word you threw around.
Sure.
But, and then like watching that movie at that time was kind of a very like, oh shit, like wow, moment, and seeing somebody, humanized in that way that you never really thought about. Again, it was never like a hateful thing or anything. It was my knowledge of the subject was just null and void. It just wasn't there. I was just ignorant to it. And then so seeing a movie like that for me was really important. I wouldn't say it started exactly with Milk, but seeking that movie out and watching Sean Penn's performance as Harvey Milk in that movie, it was an important performance. It was, and I think, there's probably a lot of people that saw that movie and started to reanalyze the way that they feel about people from different walks of life. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with your sexuality, but could be anything, in life. And there's many films like that. But I do think, yeah, right. People judge bestiality sometimes unjustly. But it's like if the duck wants it, you know what I mean?
If you're
Like,
willing.
yeah, right. But no, it's
Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. Fuck it.
But I think it is. There are definitely heavy performances and delivered correctly, and when the actors' hearts are in the right place and want to do justice to those performances, like I do think it is important work. Like you said, you're not doctors, you're not teachers,
Right.
But at the same time, you are conveying a message to people. You are much more easily accessing people's homes and minds and therefore hearts through their televisions or, through theaters or whatever than what they might be willing to absorb otherwise.
It's not like you're out there, trying to save people with insurance. Because I wish I would have waited because that's the...
But you know the story. Aaron Blake.
Yeah.
Changing lives.
Yeah. Should have waited.
Good.
What about you?
Huh?
What have you like actors? You think that like
Him, like everybody else, they
Milk,
tuned you
I've
out
seen
the
Milk,
past
too.
20 minutes.
yeah.
I guess I was kind of prepared for it because I'd been around.
Okay. Didn't know that about your dad.
Just movies in general. Are movies more entertainment for you, or are movies just more entertainment for you, or do you think that they can have impacts on, like Nick said, kind of reaching people in a different way, making you reflect and think? You touched it a little bit with Oppenheimer already, but
Definitely impact.
yeah,
You just think back on the movies that you've seen that really had an impact when you left the theater. You go, geez,
yeah,
that was something. Which would be brought up as We Were Soldiers. One of the best impacting movie ever made. If you ask a question about what was it like in Vietnam, watch the movie. You'll really get a list of what's going on, what went on. And so the movies you watch, some of them will steer you in a different direction. And Milk was one of them that steered a lot of people in another direction.
Yeah.
A good direction.
Yeah, I like Girls before that movie.
No, I agree with you what you guys just say. I mean, there's certain movies like Ricky Stenicki knows what it is, right? They're not making that movie to say we're going to try to impact people in a different way.
Yeah.
This is just a fun entertainment. And
There's a message there.
And there's a place.
Stenicki changed Brian's life.
There is a message there.
but-
There is a time and a place to let a lie die.
That's
And not carry it in
You know
your
what? There was
There is
some
a
meaning
message
in there with friends and true
absolutely.
friends and this
Actually,
and that,
I
but yeah.
will say I walked away from that movie because I was like, it's a touching movie in the regard of like how close those three guys were.
Yeah.
And they kept that friendship, and the fact that I'm like, those guys cared so much about each other that they made up a fake person in their adult lives, married with like children and stuff, to like get away from their families to make time for one another. I was like, that's really nice. That's
Sure.
very touching.
The reality
it's
would
fucked up.
they all would have
but
been
touching.
divorced
Yeah.
in reality because that's a terrible, horrible lie.
Yeah.
Especially get out of your
Yeah.
own baby shower
Yeah.
for that. But
it's
anyway,
a nice story, really.
Yeah.
But is he anything like Bob Sacamano?
I guess it's sort of like it's
All right.
that thought. Yeah, it's that.
You'll learn
it's-
about that as you go on.
It's sort of that thought.
Okay.
No, but movies can. I agree with you. They can have an impact.
Yeah.
So I've watched plenty of movies where I appreciate the fact that it's a good story that makes you think and reflect on something, and you pause for a second, and you could take that with you, and like you say, you learn something that maybe you think differently that you weren't expecting to, like you said, coming out of the end of that movie. And maybe that does make you think about certain situations and certain people a little bit differently, and that's certainly a positive thing potentially, So
Are you talking about like Passion of the Christ because you knew a lot of people in the crowd?
Sure, right.
I wish we wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have done
They
that.
really did not portray Pilate correctly. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
Yeah.
no. So is it super important? Like Robert Downey Jr. said, I'm not sure. Maybe in that room, again, it's the people doing it, and that's their profession. That's one thing. Okay, great, but it definitely can have a larger impact on society.
Opening hearts and minds.
Right.
Just like we do on this show.
Of course.
Each and every week. Our buddy here, Boomer Don, hated the show when it started. But we've changed his heart and his mind, and now he's here. Look at
That's
that.
right.
What show did I
That's right.
This one. Now you're here, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, you misunderstood. He said he hated your performance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he used performance in quotations.
Yeah.
We should add, he cannot get out of this chair unassisted, and he's been asking to leave for the past 4 hours. So we're
Held hostage by gravity.
That's right.
We're not talking about my dad. We're talking about Nick. He shit his pants.
And a bad hip.
Yeah.
Doesn't help.
Xennial Dean, Gen X Brian, Millennial Nick. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe.